Good evening, folks. Welcome to the 36th episode of the Matias Sports Podcast. I have WPRI Sports Director Sam Knox. How are you, sir?
Good, Ken. How are you? Thanks for having me
Good.
on.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you coming on. Like I just told you off air, if you just want to talk about your career and how you got to where you got at Channel 12, go for it.
Yeah, so when I was young, I'll kind of give you the how it kind of came together. When I was
Yep.
young, when I was a kid, watching Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy, Red Sox, the dynamic duo, if you will, that was the
Yep.
best. I grew up watching them and saw how much fun they had. And it was something where I was like, man, this would be a great thing for me. I played baseball growing up through college and I connected with, them as announcers to me, the viewer. And I just, growing up just loving sports, it was automatic for me. And so with that, coupling with the fact that, I like talking about sports
Yep.
on top of the love for sports, I thought this would be a great field for me. But when I was younger, it was funny. I used to mute the TV and do the play by play myself, and so at points. But it's funny. A lot of people have a similar, kind of a similar story that
Yep.
way, and yeah, I loved it, I knew pretty young that I wanted to get into this field, and like a lot of people in the field, also kind of have um, that similar drive from an early age, and their love for it. So, get to high school, and like I said, I knew it pretty early what I wanted to do eventually, and I got involved in the high school media classes and the media, the things that they offered at the
Mhm.
school. I went to Tantascwa in Sturbridge, Massachusetts, a five-town regional, and it was Tantascwa Weekly News was we had a class for it, which was awesome, and I was able to be in that. Had a great teacher, Steve Thierry. Actually, my best buddy's uncle was the teacher, and we both had
Oh,
the
wow.
class with him as the teacher. I'll always be thankful for him because he got me really on my feet, with camera equipment, getting reps,
Hmm.
on camera and doing all that stuff. It was really, it's high school, news setup, but at the time you're like, this is really awesome. I can get a feel for it, and he was great. Mr. Thierry was awesome, and he went to Emerson, which is where I ended up going. He was very instrumental in helping me get to where I wanted to be in college. I had a lot of really, really good high school teachers that recommended me to Emerson, and I was right on the edge there. Like I was close to not getting in because the SATs I sucked at testing, and I still probably would suck at testing if I had to do it.
It's
So this
tough.
it's hard. Some
Yeah.
of these questions in the
It's not
standardized test,
easy.
it's unbelievable. So I was close. It was like borderline, like I could or could not get in, and I was doing all this research on what I could do to help myself get in. And it helped that I played baseball. The coach was first year coach my senior year of high school, so he was looking for guys, and luckily I was decent enough to crack a Division III roster, and I was his first recruit actually. So it's funny we still kind of talk about that whenever we see each other, and so yeah, so I ended up going to Emerson, which was great. Got even more great experience. You know, Even more camera stuff, more opportunities. You're in Boston, so you have a great opportunity, right?
For
To
sure.
to just see just the rich sports around you. And like I said, I'm from Massachusetts, so
Mhm.
you're relatively close to home, but you're also able to study, what you want to study, and be in an environment that was perfect. Small classes, a lot of opportunities. It's a journalism school. I could play baseball there. It was really the best mix of everything for me. And yeah, so went there all 4 years. Got some internships. Interned with ABC6 actually in Providence with Ian Steele and Nick Coit, two legends here actually.
Yep,
Ian
for
Steele,
sure.
Ian Steele just won Sportscaster of the Year
I
for
did see that. Yeah, I congratulated him. He
Yep,
has you guys are
absolutely.
all great. I mean, from
Oh, well, appreciate
6,
it.
10, 12. I mean, even
Yeah,
on the Boston channels too, but go for
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean Ian so deserving. I texted him, and then I saw him a couple, yesterday, and I learned from those two guys, Nick and Ian, and they are great. Taught me everything a lot of what I know. They were the best internship that I had. In that way of getting hands-on experience,
it.
because I had an internship also. I had two in Boston. I had one in Boston 25, um, and then I had one with WHDH, which was also great. But when you're in Providence and when you were with them, you were out more because they were out. So a lot of the time in the Boston stations is the anchors are and the producers they're kind of just there. They're anchored at the station and
Yeah, they're at
they
the
have other
studio.
right that type of thing. So with ABC 6, I was really getting a look at what was going on and how it was done and what I had, what it was like. So that was great. Three internships right after my last one with WHDH. I actually got hired as a writer there my second semester of senior year. So right before I kind of went into the job search, I was able to work in a newsroom, which was so awesome. And it was actually right January 2020 to March 2020, right when COVID happened.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Jeez.
was it was quick, but it was awesome. Like I had such a good time. Um, being in a newsroom, one of my, I would probably say my top mentor in the business, Joe Amorosino,
A
legend,
legend.
a
Yeah.
legend, man. I mean, seriously, I
Yeah.
still talk to him to this day, and we built a really good relationship when I was an intern there, and then it continued through the job search, and just a genuine person, guy who's seen it all, does it the right way, works hard, knows when it's time to turn on the jets and work, but also can really can talk to you and connect with you on a personal level, which I always appreciated. So COVID hits, and luckily I had my college stuff done, my reels kind of set up from everything that I had done, up to that point with journalism and all the stand ups that I did with Nick and Ian, and wherever I did an anchor tape at WHDH, and I put that in there too. So I was luckily ready to go when COVID hit. So it was like, I was pretty much already applying when COVID
Hmm.
hit, which, in itself, you're like, wow, I was really prepared, but like I didn't know I was going to be prepared. You know what I mean? Because COVID hit, and everything shut down. You can't do nothing. And we had never seen something like that before. So applying for jobs, I applied for probably like upwards of 80 plus jobs, just like
Wow.
news jobs, sports jobs, anything I
Yep.
could get my hands on to apply. I did. Got a couple offers to be a news reporter in a couple small markets. I know Oregon was one of them. I think Quad Cities and Iowa was one of them. And then Rockford, Illinois came along. And I smile when I say the city's name because it was my first job. I got hired by Audrey Moon. I'm gonna name drop some people in this because that's what I
That's fine.
I always appreciate.
Yep.
Who kind of got me to where I am. And Audrey Moon, news director at the time at my first station, WREX in Rockford, Illinois, NBC station. Derek Bain was our sports director. So it was just me and him, the two-man sports department. It was awesome. I had such a good experience. 2 years, um, high school, covering the Bears. Fred Van Vliet's from Rockford, so I love doing that stuff. Fred Van Vliet stuff was awesome. Vidarian Lowe, also from Rockford, the left
Really?
tackle for the
Wow. For the
Patriots. Yeah,
Patriots.
so
Wow. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's my guy. So I knew him then before I came here. So me and him are super tight. He's a great dude.
Mhm.
So it's funny how the business works in that way. You're like, oh my goodness, we're gonna be in the same area again. You know what I mean? So it was great. He was at the University of Illinois when I was in Rockford, which was like 3-4 hours away, but it's close for Illinois. So yeah, after 2 years, I got an opportunity to apply to WPRI, and it was actually Nick Coit who helped me kind of get in the interview door. The job was posted, and he reached out to Maury
Super good
Griswold.
dude. Yeah, I've had him on my podcast, met him in person. You know,
He,
he's a
he's the
good guy. He's a
he's
good
the
guy.
best. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the best. One of the greatest right there. Just a great dude. Great dude.
Yeah, very nice guy.
And a great boss as well. So get the luckily able to interview. Went through a couple rounds of interviews. Man, they made me work hard for it.
It's
not
usually
not
how
that
it
I was
is.
not that I was expecting anything easier, but yeah, no, it was good. I had a couple interviews with our news director here. Obviously had talked with Maury, but it's funny because Maury started at WPRI when I was interning with Nick and Ian
Yeah.
in 2018, that summer. So
Hmm.
I had met Maury, but I don't know if he had remembered at the time, but yeah, it's funny just how it all kind of comes together. And so get the job and able to move home. Like this is great. This is great. I'm able to go back. Like I'm able to continue to do this thing and that I love and go back closer to home, which is huge for me now. Especially, I got a little niece. I got family here. This is where you want to be. You always want to be around family, man. You don't want to be
For
taking
sure.
flights home,
Yeah, I
months for
totally agree.
holidays. So it's an easy it's a win-win really. So I took the job right away. I didn't even think about it. Just took it. They offered me the job over the phone. I said yes right away. Didn't even think about any of the other things. I knew I was gonna take it. So I took it, and it was May of 2022 when I started, and I was the sports news reporter, kind of like a hybrid. They
Hmm.
call it's the number three position here. Maury was the number one. I had Taylor Begley was the two at the
Yep.
time, and then there was me. I came in. So a year later, Maury gets the job at Channel Seven
Hmm.
after the legendary Joe Amorosino retired from the industry. So Maury's leaving, and I'm like, oh man, that sucks because first of all, he's a great friend of mine, and second of all, I mean, he was the backbone of our, one of the backbone of our department. The other is JP Smallins. He's a legend too. He's a
I've
high
emailed
school
him. He seems very nice. Yeah.
high school guru, man. He
Yeah.
knows everybody under the sun in the state in this area. He knows everything. So he's also a vital piece of what we do here and how we get things done. He is the engine of our department. It's been said that way before, and it's seriously true. And that's what Maury
Hmm.
said before, and of course Yanni before Maury.
Oh yeah.
So Maury leaves for Boston. Great opportunity for him, of course. Uh, I had just gotten promoted to this to the number two position because Taylor had originally left. So Taylor comes back. She serves as a sports director, which was a huge help for me in many ways.
Hmm.
So I was the number two. Derwin comes in as the number three. Taylor comes back as the number one. So we got a little bit of we got a team here. Taylor was really vital at that time just because Derwin had just started. I had
Yep.
just moved up my position. So there's a lot of moving parts here. And then from there, Taylor spent a year and then she decided to leave again. And luckily, I applied for the sports director job and they trusted me with it. And lucky every day, man. Just blessed to have this position. And I never take it for granted. I know exactly what it means, and it's a real honor to have that title and to also have that title here
Oh
because
yeah, for
it's such a
sure.
rich sports um, environment place to be. It's amazing. So yeah, it's been great. I love it, um, and that's where we are now. And we're a few months in here to the new title, and it's been really great so far. So I've really enjoyed it.
No, congrats on getting the new title. I mean, you worked your way up. You've been there since 2022.
Yep.
I actually had the pleasure, I think it was like September of 2023 where I met Derwin at a game.
Yep.
I was covering a game for like the Newport Daily News, whatever it was. And we just connected there. He was shooting, whatever it was. I remember it was a crappy day, but it was cool to just meet a guy from 12 and I'm like, damn, like, hey, like I interned at Channel 5, like in Boston in sports, worked with Bob Halloran. Like I love the industry and then him and I just text here and there and stuff. And I'm glad you guys got a pretty good department with Mike there, you,
Yeah.
Sam, JP. I don't know if I'm
Yep.
missing anybody, but
Oh
And
yeah, that's the main. That's the main. That's the four. That's the fantastic four.
that's great that, 12's a nice it's good product too. I mean, I remember meeting, I think my dad and I met Patrick Little probably. He used to be the sports director way back
Yeah,
when. I want to
yeah.
say him and my dad and I should say, met him at, I think, at a P Bruins game when I was like little.
Oh,
But
cool.
yeah. So I remember him being the sports director, and I've been around news like growing up, watching it with my parents my whole life. So I've been down the same path, listening to Don and Jerry and Nesson, and I've loved sports as much as anybody else. I mean, it's definitely a good industry. But what were like the biggest key factors for you moving from Illinois back home with your internships? Like, what was your biggest takeaways to today? Obviously, being the sports director.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing for me was, I always that's a tough one. The main takeaways like from the job or from like what take
Your career at this point, at least. I know it's still young in your career, but still, like,
right.
from bouncing from home to Illinois,
Oh
making
yeah.
those connections, and then coming back home.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the big thing for me was moving was really big because I was able to really grow in more
Hmm.
ways than one, right? You're moving away from your home in the middle of COVID and you're like, oh, here we go, this is real. And then you're working full time out there for not a lot of
Yeah.
money. And you have to figure it out
Hmm.
and get groceries on your own. You have to do everything on your own.
Laundry,
Uh,
everything.
the whole nine, man. Oh, I got to do an oil change now. It's like, oh, geez. So you got to do all those
Yep.
things where you're like, whoa, okay, I gotta do all these things on top of chase the dream of the goal here, right? And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I think it helped me grow so much. So from moving in the middle of COVID, and I moved out there with my dad, and my mom and my stepdad also helped me out. But it's a trip I'll always remember, and I always will appreciate them driving me out to the Midwest in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, it's unbelievable when you think about it now, but back then you're like, this is really awesome, and made lifetime memories with my dad and my mom and my stepdad Peter. It was amazing. Just the trip, just you're
Hmm.
driving out there. There's a lot of anticipation and nerves and excitement, but you're about to get into the field and the people that it's funny because I was just actually thinking about this last night while I was laying in bed before I fell asleep. Just how awesome Rockford was, like for me, like the people there and how welcoming they were, and that helped me get confidence too. Like you're able to kind of start your brand out there, and you really get comfortable in a place where the high school sports are king. It's huge there,
Oh, I
right? So.
believe it.
Um, People watch. And when I got there, I was like, oh, people just care about the Cubs and the Bears and the White Sox. But no, they want to see
No.
their brother, sister, niece, nephew, grandson, granddaughter on the news. They want to see
Hmm.
people there, that the community, right? So um, that was helped me grow so much. But I knew I wanted to return home at some point. Didn't know it was going to be that fast. It happened quick. I thought, to be honest with you, I was thinking like Florida. I was thinking like Jacksonville. I was thinking
That's a
like
good
some,
area. Yeah,
yeah.
Jacksonville's nice.
But I was thinking, I was like in my head, I'm like, where would I want to go next? And I said a warm climate, not warm here,
No,
but it's
far
but it's
from it, honestly.
but it's home. So that trumps everything, right? When you have a chance to go home, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you're in your
So
comfort of your own home, and
right,
obviously, it's just basically, what do you call it? I'm losing my train of thought, sorry. Just basically, you're back home, you're familiar with the area, but moving to Illinois was definitely like a good career thing for you then.
absolutely was. No, it was huge. Um, I do miss parts of it. I do. I really do. And things I didn't think I would miss, I miss. Um, just the small things, man. Like, you're working on holidays. It's like, I always tell people it's a glorified grad school, your first TV job.
Hmm.
It's a glorified grad school. That's what it is. You're in the middle of nowhere. and you're starting a career with other people that are doing the same thing, and you're like, all right, here we go. Let's see how this goes. And some people stay in the industry, some people don't, but I still have connections with people that I met out there that are lifelong friends, and that I'll always be in touch with.
One person I do want to bring up that you may know is Cam Simone, if I said that right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
what's your thoughts on him? He ended up being like similar situation. He was from around what, Johnston,
Yep.
moved, now he's in I think
Excuse me.
Missouri. So I had him on
Joplin.
my podcast, and he seems like he loves it out there, or he just like tried it and had to move and hopefully to move back. So your thoughts on Cam?
He's great. Yeah, Cam's awesome. He was an intern at our station.
Yep.
He's a very good friend of mine. He's a great kid, and he works his tail off, and always took an opportunity to come join um, whatever I was doing that day. He was with me a lot, and
Hmm.
this was the summer of 2023. Yeah, so like
Seems so
May,
long ago.
no, May to August of 23.
Yep.
He always took the opportunity to come to things that we were doing, and I'll always appreciate that. He's a hard worker, good kid from here, and yeah, no, he's awesome. He's a super good kid, super motivated and driven.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I have nothing but great things to say about him.
Seems like he's got a good relationship with the Missoula family too. I mean, he did that nice piece
Yeah,
on them as well. So,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It was awesome. It was great.
but so going back to 12, like how's the work environment there? Like working with like, your fellow people that work under you and working with other departments. Like how's the vibe working in East Providence? It seems like you guys got a good core of people there.
Great. It's awesome. Love people here. Channel 12 is it's great. I mean, the people here, I have a great relationship with pretty much everyone here. I mean, um, everyone has the a drive here.
Hmm. You
You
have
have
to.
people, right, for sure, and it's everyone's always motivated to do better and do more, and I think that pushes me too to be better every day, try and be better every day, right? Everyone wants to be perfect. Like I have a standard of being, I want everything that I do to look and be perfect, and it never is going to be, but that's why it keeps you going. It keeps you pushing forward. Um, but people here are great. I have great bosses, Pat. Holy, our general manager, and then Karen Resendes, our news director. Like I said, that Karen's the one. Karen promoted me twice, right from three to she actually three times from the coming in from Illinois to the number two spot to the sports director
Sports
spot.
director.
So I mean, there's a commitment to excellence here in that
Hmm.
way of like you said the product, right? Like we want it to look really good, but we also want to be accurate and trusted. Um, but yeah, everyone here is great. I mean, I sharing the evening desk with Mike Montecalvo, Shannon Heggie,
Yeah,
and Tony.
they're like legends of the
It's
station.
and then it's like I pop in here and it's like who's this guy? But they're three literally like Rhode Island TV Hall of Famers, and
Hmm.
Shannon will be eventually. I know Mike and Tony are already in there, but it's so cool. I look around often and I say, "Oh, this is really awesome." And I try as hard as I can to serve this position well and to lead and you know be a good manager while also being the face of the sports department here. It's pretty crazy to think, whenever someone says sports director, it's still kind of like, oh wow, yeah, it's
That's
what it
my
is now.
title.
It's pretty crazy, but yeah, it's really cool and it's an honor. It really is. But the people here are great. I have a great relationship with everyone that I know here.
Changing gears, obviously, still sticking with 12. Like, what's your favorite part? Is it like the pro landscape when you're in the locker room talking to, let's say, Christian Gonzalez? You might be in the C's locker room, any type of locker room, or do you like it when you go to the PC Friars games, URI? Like, pick one from the other. Like, obviously, I probably tend to the pro stuff, but college stuff seems pretty cool as well.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, they all have their own perks, right? Like Excuse me, I'm sorry.
You can't be like a fanboy. You got to be professional, proper. Hey, obviously you're not going to ask for these people's autographs because you're going to see them pretty often. So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
I
I
totally
mean,
understand that.
yeah, yeah. That's I mean, they both have their like the college basketball here is awesome. Like
Yep.
I love doing the PC URI Bryant Brown landscape just because it's unique to us here. Like
Hmm.
Boston stations don't cover that, right? It's just us.
Yeah, because that's Rhode
Um,
Island based.
right,
Yeah.
right. So Big East basketball is like awesome, right? So
Hmm.
it's I love Big East. I love the Big East tournament. So much fun. College basketball coming down the stretch. When you're in March, it's great.
You're on the bubble to get
For
in.
sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean the Pats, Celtics, Bruins stuff is awesome too. Sox, love the Red Sox. Hopefully the Red Sox can get back into the winning ways.
I'm hoping so. They had a pretty good
Yeah,
offseason, so we'll see. I'm a big baseball guy just like you. Like I love all the four major sports, but baseball and
yeah,
football and then hockey and the Celtics are right there. So,
absolutely. Yeah, so yeah, it's great. All of them have their own perks, man. It's the Celtics are great right now. They're coming off that title.
hmm.
The Bruins, hockey guys are always usually pretty chill and awesome.
Yep.
Baseball's great. The Pats is always fun because you have 53 guys that you can talk to rather than 12 on a basketball team, right? So you can
Hmm.
kind of do a little bit more in the Patriots locker room, which is cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, as for like a favorite thing, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the college basketball is unique. I do like that when March comes around and there are teams that are close to getting in, and
And then you guys cover the Big East tournament
yep,
usually
yep,
because Providence, right? Every team kind of makes it type of thing.
yep. Every team's in,
Doesn't
no
matter
matter
what their
what.
record. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So anyone can make a run, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can make a run. So that's always a good one. And then URI is good this year. They're 12-3. Um, they've lost two of their first three conference games when as we're recording this, but it's good when they're good too. You know what I mean? It's great. It's great. So God, you love it. It's great. All of it's really cool. I do love when a team from here makes a run in the Little League World Series.
Oh, I always love the Little League World Series every single
So
year.
much fun. I
I
mean,
want
it's
to I
great.
want to go someday, Williamsport. I'd like to visit it someday.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I haven't been,
Yeah.
but that's like the best. I mean,
Hmm.
I love the little league stuff because it's
Yeah, I do too.
so. I think they care. It's a community thing, and when a team from Rhode Island makes it, which honestly is pretty often. Back when they had the New England, now it's the Metro. But I mean, if Rhode Island makes it, like a couple of years ago, they made it. It was right when Maury had.
Left.
I think it was right before. I think he was
He covered it.
on his honeymoon at the time.
Oh yeah, yep, yep.
And like Smithfield beats Nevada in the first game. You're like, oh my
Oh,
goodness. Okay. They just beat like
a
Las
team out
Vegas.
west. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're talking about Smithfield. And it was awesome. It was great. And like it was so much fun. And the kids, I still know the names on the roster for a lot of them. And it was a lot of fun. And it's great. And it's just like they're 10 through 12 years old, man. It's
Getting
fun.
that exposure on ESPN, you having, the
It's
Little League
great.
Classic with two MLB teams come in, have the players sit with the kids.
So much
It's a
fun.
unique environment, honestly. If I could see it one day, I mean, I don't have to spend a whole weekend there, but if I was there just to see it for a day and then move on, I'd be satisfied.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's great. So, my favorite is probably Little League.
Little League.
Probably like if a team goes, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, because you guys will go, right? You guys will take the drive to Williamsport and then cover the
Yeah,
team
if they
for X amount it is.
right, if they got through, well, that year they made it to Williamsport. We didn't end up going just because of the situation we were in. Maury was away. I was, here. Derwin had just started, so
Yeah.
we went to Bristol, but we didn't go to Williamsport that year. But we covered them. We covered them, and it was fun, man. It was fun.
I know. I hope for every single year that New England, no matter if it's a Connecticut, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Mass team, but it just unfortunate
Yeah.
they never go far because they're playing teams from like Florida, California, whatever their bracket is, and I'm like, these poor kids, I feel like don't
No,
really have a chance.
I
And I'm not
know.
trying to degrade them, but
No,
those
yeah,
kids eat, sleep, breathe baseball.
right.
And then when you play an international team, if you make it to like the championship, they play Japan, and it's like
Yeah, I
those
know.
kids do the same thing. It's eat, sleep, repeat, and play ball 24/7.
All the time. Yeah, no, that's why it's
I
always
can't
good
even
to
remember the
see.
last time a New England State probably won it. 70s, 80s, if that, if they ever won. I mean, I can't even
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. I mean, I
If they
think
won it maybe once, like one of the New England states.
right, right. So yeah, no, it's great. Love Little League.
But that's cool. I mean, out of between the college, professional, the kids, I mean, your favorite's mostly like the little league side of things.
100%. That's what
Yeah.
everyone loves, the community involvement. So it's great.
No, I know you alluded to back in Illinois how they're big on, the grandson, daughter, granddaughter, like they're big on that more than
Uh-huh.
professional teams.
Yeah.
But going towards, I know we're short on time here. Going towards like the professional landscape, how is it just basically walking into the locker room and then seeing Channel 5, Channel 4, Channel 7? You start building relationships with these people because you keep seeing them, if not every single day, a few days a week covering the team. So, how's that interacting with your fellow colleagues or peers? And then obviously talking to the players and coaches.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, there's so many people that have been in sports in Boston for a long, long time. So it's cool when you see people like that out there. But it's cool seeing Maury again.
Yeah, yeah,
You see a guy that and he's the young one in Boston, and it's very cool. Yeah, because you grew up watching these stations, and now you're
yep.
in it. It's very, very cool. Thinking about it and like that. Being in the locker room is cool too because you just realize that these guys are people too.
Yeah,
Um, they have families. They have, you know, feelings. They aren't just robots. Um, they're not only putting, they're putting a lot on the line. Playing football, man, you're putting your life on the line pretty
that's
much.
true.
I mean,
And
seriously. I mean,
after
you're
playing 10, 15 years, you can, God forbid, have concussions and then
right,
CTE and then lead to
right,
horrible things that have
and that
happened.
and they're trying to put meals on the table for their family, and
Hmm.
at the end of the day, that's what we're all doing, right? So they're going to work just like we are, and um, it's cool, because you get to see that part of it, and you actually get to build some relationships with some players, and after a while, become friends, which is great.
Staying on the Pats topic, just real quick here. What stood out to you basically? Like, who was the best player that you probably maybe interviewed or coach that you would always go to maybe every single week or at least most of the season?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, during the week I wasn't up there, but for games and stuff, Kendrick Bourne
He
was
seems like he's
always,
pretty open with the
yeah,
media,
he's very, very good. Kendrick Bourne's great. Like I said, I was super tight with Vidarian,
yeah. Yep.
so I would talk to him a lot. We didn't really interview Vidarian, but he would come to the podium a couple times, so then that serves as
Hmm.
their interview. Um, Devon Godshaw was always great.
Yep.
You got guys like Christian Ellis was good this year. Talked a lot. Jonathan Jones, great guy. Um,
Seems
I
he's
hope
a
he
really team-oriented guy. I hope he sticks around.
got that McCourty vibe to him in
Yeah,
that way.
basically.
He's got that
He's a
leadership
senior
type
guy.
for sure. So those are the guys.
Yeah, no, that's great. How did you interact much with Christian Gonzalez? I know he had a pretty good stellar year locking down a bunch of receivers.
I did, yeah. I mean, he's good guy, quiet, mellow guy, but I mean, he gets the job done. As you can tell on the field. Um, but yeah, he's great. And certainly one of Belichick's good draft picks.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. But Sam, I really appreciate your time. Feel free to shoot your socials to people and make sure they check them out. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you having me on. Anything else you need, just let me know.
Appreciate it, Sam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.